All right, welcome back uh, to our remote session of COMP1115 Game Programming 1. And it's week 6, part 1 of our broadcast and recording together. And as you can hear from my voice, a little bit under the weather, feel okay, up on meds, which is always a good thing when you have, a bit of a cold. It takes the edge off, that's for sure. Lots of coffee and ready to rock and roll. So, this week, we're going to be talking about a couple things, strings and string methods, enumerations, SM debugging, basics, and some other things that we're going to be talking about. But last week, let's talk about last week a little bit. We talked about arrays, looping with arrays. We talked about a little bit about memory and how arrays are contiguous. So that means like array memory locations are like right next to each other. That's what we talked about. We also talked about 2D arrays. I gave some examples in the PowerPoint. Hopefully you read that, as well as parallel arrays. I gave a lot of examples of parallel arrays and how they're really useful. And then we also talked about collection expressions. So that's kind of a way of initializing an array. Instead of using curly brackets and the new keyword, we can do that with square brackets. That's what that was. And we actually did some branching last week. So that was part of your in-class exercise 5, if I'm not wrong. So this week, what we're going to do is I want to talk about a little bit of homework, what you have to do. One of the things that I asked you guys to do is put together a programmatic menu, and I'm going to build it with you so you understand, how I think, what I'm thinking about it, and then get into the rest of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today, including a bit more about the console class, strings and string methods, enumerations, which are new, debugging basics like we talked about, and writing some readmes, which is something for us to do. Now it says ICE 6 is due tonight, just to make sure everyone's clear on that. Okay, so it's not due tomorrow, it's due tonight. So hopefully you guys will be able to get that done. I'm going to make all this available. So one thing I got to do for you is in our weekly lessons, let's make that one visible. And I'm also going to make your in-class exercise 6 also visible. So you can see those two things, just so we can get started. But before we get started on anything else, and I want to do a little bit of recording, I'll stop recording and I'll get back to the class for today, is I want to talk about a little bit about our mid-semester exam next week, which is coming up. All right, so if you didn't know, next week we're going to have our mid-semester exam. A couple things that I want to focus on so we're clear. It's in person only right now, and I mean right now because let's get to put this a little bit closer up. I'm saying right now because for a couple reasons. One, if there is some other mandate because of the ongoing strike that's going on right now, we may make a change to that. But other than that, or if somehow I'm still sick by then. I doubt that. This usually passes pretty quickly for me. I'll probably be good just after Thanksgiving. That's my prognosis. But anyways, we'll see how that goes. So unless it's something weird, we're in person only. That's the first thing. Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is if you have accommodations, I don't know how well the testing center is working right now. So please connect with me via Discord, and you and I, if you're one of these people who have accommodations, and there are some people, please connect with me so I can make some arrangements with you, because this is a test that needs to be in person, and there's some stuff that we need to figure out. Okay, so that's something that's going on. Worst case, I'm going to also talk about this. If it's not in person, I will make this a lockdown browser exam, which means that you'll have access to certain things, but not everything. And you'll have to access it through that. There'll be a special download, something you have to download on your machine. And the lockdown browser will also need, you to have a webcam that's available. as an example, where it can see you in your environment, right? A little bit intrusive, and that's why I don't like it, but it's necessary a lot of times for academic integrity. So that's why I prefer in person as opposed to online. So around 2 hours is going to take. What I say here is please arrive about 10 minutes early. If you do arrive 20 minutes late, or after 20 minutes late, I will not allow you to write the exam. And you cannot stick around for the second exam. It's not like you can stick around and say, okay, I want to do the next one. No, your exam is your exam time. All right, so that's how it's going to be. No phones, smartwatches, headphones, or any other gadgets allowed. So leave those at home. The other gadgets, the cell phone. I mean, clearly we all have a cell phone. We're tethered to it nowadays. For that one, what I'm going to ask you to do is keep it in your bag at the front. And what I know most of us need cell phone, because of two-factor authentication for GitHub. And what I'm going to ask you to do probably the night before is create a repository ahead of time. So, because you need it. And I'll give you the format for the repository in the email. So I might say something like, call it something like COMP1115, kind of midterm exam followed by your student number or something like that. And I'll give you all that detail again in the email. No food and drink, so you can't bring in coffees. Sorry about that, right? So none of that stuff. No eating, no washroom breaks. So please go to the washroom ahead of time. Your student card is required, so you'll need to sign in. I'll give you a sign-in sheet that you sign in and then you're in. I check your student card at that time. You will have limited web access. So GitHub is okay, Blackboard PDFs, that kind of stuff, but no videos. You can't watch videos during the exam or anything like that. Web searching, of course, is not allowed in any form. So no Google, you can't go to any kind of other site that's going to help you code, none of that stuff. You may use your own PC, but you must turn off all messaging apps, including Discord. So WhatsApp, Signal, whatever else you got going on, and Discord's all going to be off. Okay, you can't have those on in any way. If I see those things on, yeah, you can do that, Michael, no problem. It's an open book test. So, I mean, it'll help you if you need to look things up. It'll slow you down though, right? So do I recommend it? No. I think you should try and, kind of remember some of those things that I've asked you to do. But if you need help, then it's good to go. Yeah, I was going to say you can use your own PC. You can use a school computer, no problem, of course. Hey, Zach. But you can't use both. So if you're someone who has their own PC and you have an idea that you can log into your school computer at the same time, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Only one computer. So that's one thing you're going to have to do. AI is banned, right? I got to say that, right? So no Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, like normal. It's part of your integrity pledge. You must turn off AI assist tools in Visual Studio like GitHub Copilot. And that may require, if you have it installed for whatever reason, you may need to uninstall it in your Visual Studio installer. So if you install GitHub Copilot, if it came with my VS config file or whatever, then I need you to uninstall it before you come. Okay, if that's something, if you're going to use your own machine. Excuse me. So the exam scope is practical. That means you're going to do live coding, right? It covers weeks 1 through 6. That's including this week. Variables, conditions, conditional statements, loops, arrays are the bulk of it, is what it's going to be covering. It will include a starter project. So that means that I'm going to be giving you something to start with, and you must use that project. You can't use, your in-class exercise 5 as an example as a base. You can't do that. If you do, 0. Your submission requirements will be a PowerPoint report. So the title slide that you're currently using now with your YouTube video is something that you're going to, how do you see my screen? You should see my screen. You guys should see my screen right now, right? Your title slide is definitely something that's required. And then what you're also going to need is a couple more slides. What went well? What didn't go so well? Oh yeah? Okay, I'm not sure why. So what went well means that like everything goes, these are the things that I was able to get done. Maybe you have, I'm going to give you 5 tasks, let's say, or whatever. And out of those 5 tasks, you did really well on 1, 2, 3, and 4. But maybe task 5 didn't go so well for whatever reason, right? Um, so, you put that down. You say, I couldn't do task 5. I didn't know how to do this, or, I had a lot of errors. And, you can take screenshots and stuff like that and put them on your slide. You need a GitHub repository. And like I said, I'll let you know what the format's going to be ahead of time, usually the day before. So probably Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. And you must have a YouTube video showcasing your work. But wait a minute, a YouTube video, you're going to be in class. How does that work? You can still use OBS and that kind of stuff to record your video and post it. It may not have any sound, and that's okay. I will get you to demo whatever I'm asking you to do at the time. So let's say, for example, I ask you to build something, and when I ask you to build whatever that thing is, you need to demo it. It has to be demoed in your Visual Studio editor, so you have to run it and make sure that it works, and you have to show me different parts of it. You don't need to talk in the video because clearly we're going to be in a classroom environment, and everyone talking in the video at the end is going to be challenging. One thing though, notice that it says 2 hours, and you're like, wait, we have 3 hours. How come it only says 2 hours, Tom? Well, there's a couple of reasons, right? One, there's some preamble. I'm going to give you your papers. You're going to sign in. It's going to take time, right? For me to give you all that stuff. And then you're going to begin your setup, download whatever the your starter project is. That's going to take time. You're going to start doing everything. Almost the prep time is going to take you 5 to 15 minutes, just to get going. And then the downtime. Once you're done, I'm probably going to call it, at some point and say, okay, it's time to start uploading. So you have to make your video. You have to put together your PowerPoint document, all that kind of stuff, and upload that all to Blackboard. Before you leave, please check with me. So that's another thing. If you're, done the exam next week and you're ready to go, check to see that I got everything. It'd be really bad, like super bad. As an example, if you left and somehow you were missing stuff on your exam and I can't mark you. All right. So you get 0, and I don't want that to happen because this exam, my friends, is worth 20% of your final grade. So it's not like a small it's not like a small amount. It's quite big. So, please take it seriously. I'm not saying that you're not taking it seriously, but take it seriously. It's something that we have to make sure that you're good at, or when you're submitting, so that way we're all good to go. Okay, so that's really your exam scope. I wanted to talk about that before we began anything. Any questions around this? Or concerns? How about concerns? Okay, so this is the exam. I'm going to stop recording this one, and this will just be the exam recording. Aiden's asking, how do you recommend we study for this? You know what? The best way to study, like I said before, is code. So which means one thing you might want to try and do is just take a look at the in-class exercises, starting at in-class exercise 2, ICE 2, to ICE 6, and recreate those without the videos. Like, just try and do that, right? So practice, 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 and this way, as you practice coding, you'll get, kind of a sense of how everything is knit together, and then you'll be better and better at it. That's the only way. I mean, I kind of sit there and I'm saying to myself the same thing I'll say to you, which is if I want to be a writer, I've said this before, write, if you, and read. If you want to be a singer, sing. If you want to be a programmer, code. There is no other way to really do better on that. Okay? No problem, Damien. All right, so that is your midterm test. I'm going to stop recording this now, and then we're going to get back to regular scheduled stuff.